Howdy, folks. I'm Shy Shasta Daisy, shamefully sharing sacred secrets.
I'm Amber.
And here are more secrets for us to share because we're sly like that. I don't know which sacred secrets we're sharing, but if I told you, then it wouldn't be a secret anymore. Let's get started. Alright, folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Ruining My Own Gender Reveal Party? I'm pregnant with a baby boy due in November. My fiance and I didn't care much about the sex of our child, so we didn't make too much noise about it once we found it. The only people that we had informed were our parents, their parents, and our siblings. Prior to this, my father's girlfriend of 3 years has been asking me about my plans for a gender reveal party. I've always been clear about me not wanting one. When I announced my son's gender to them, she expressed disappointment that I hadn't changed my mind about the party. I don't like gender reveals, never have, never will. I prefer baby showers, which I think feel more about the actual child. I've never tried to hide that opinion either. Well, days later, my father's girlfriend invited me over for tea at their apartment. My dad was out of town. When I got there, about a dozen people popped out of hiding to surprise me. There were pink and blue decorations everywhere, which made what was going on pretty clear. I stood there in shock. My father's girlfriend excitedly told me that they were throwing me a surprise gender reveal party. Since I had already told her, she had taken it upon herself to order the cake with colorful frosting, decorations, decorating the apartment, and inviting a bunch of people over. The guests included her mother, whom I don't get along with, some of her friends, my mother-in-law, not my mother, and 4 of my friends. As I found out later, my mother-in-law and friends had been told that I had changed my mind about gender reveals. I had not. Still in the doorway, I looked over at everyone and said, "It's a boy, you can go home now." I left without looking back. Hours later, my father called me furious that I had ruined the party. He said that his girlfriend put a lot of effort, money, and love into planning it, and that I should have shown some respect and gratitude for it. Apparently, she hasn't stopped crying since I left. It's been almost a week, and they're still both upset. Even after explaining that I never wanted the party in the first place, they're still insisting that I could have just gotten over it for an hour, or at least cut the cake. Am I the jerk? Alright, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. You do not have to be grateful for someone trampling your boundaries.
Yeah.
I mean, OP made it very clear she didn't want this. And the problem with these kind of people is that if you let them trample your boundaries once, they'll take it as a go-ahead to do it again and again. And so I know that, probably was upsetting to the people there, but the person they need to be upset with is OP's father's girlfriend for going against OP's wishes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is, again, one of those situations, exactly as you said. You really need to establish firm boundaries, and if somebody is showing that they're already going to start trampling your boundaries, then you need to make it clear that that's not acceptable, and not to reward that behavior. Because if you reward that behavior, then it's going to, what happens next time is going to be, well, you should have just gotten over it again, right? Until all you're doing is constantly getting over whatever boundary that you've set up, right?
Right. You don't have to get over, being hurt in this way. You don't have to compromise and cave for this. And Dad's girlfriend is using social pressure here to try and force OP. And the
Yeah.
dad is using it too. They're in. That is not okay.
Well, I think that's a really good point. Like, this again was one of those kinds of situations where I think the girlfriend expected OP just to kind of not make a scene and to go along with it because there were a group of people there too. And I think that OP was right to not want to go along with it. I mean, I think some people are going to have a very different opinion on this, where they're going to say, well, maybe she was being selfish for, not just getting over it for a little while. But I don't know. I really feel in this particular case that OP was right to set that boundary and keep that boundary.
Yeah, I mean, if someone gave you something you really, really didn't want, this party is an example, you're not obligated to be thankful for it or to accept it. And I really don't like the idea that, oh, well, because they went to all this trouble and effort, doesn't matter if they went to all this trouble and effort. They went knowing this is not what you want. This goes against what you want. Goes against the values you hold dear.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it may have been slightly different if the person who threw the party had no idea that OP didn't want a gender reveal. Because at that point in time, OP wouldn't have been able to tell them that, oh, I don't want this party or whatnot. But that would have been incumbent upon the other guests to let them know that, hey, OP's not interested in that.
Well, and going off of that too, like she even explicitly lied and said, "Oh yeah, OP changed her mind."
Yeah.
So OP was supposed to pretend like she doesn't have any feelings here. Like, "Oh yeah, no, I totally changed my mind and want this now." Like,
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And OK Conversation 9750 says, not the jerk. Dad's girlfriend sounds like someone who enjoys bulldozing boundaries. Wait until she expects to be in the delivery room with you. And OP replies, our hospital will only allow me and my fiance in. Thankfully, no one has asked to be there anyways. And Oberdika says, speaking of your fiance, where was he in all this? And OP replies, at the gym, I called him right after we met up. And Oberdika says, weird that they wouldn't invite him. It's his kid too, and his family was there. And OP replies, when she invited me over for tea, she added that my fiance could come along if he wanted to. I didn't bring him because he had scheduled a gym class, and we thought it was just tea at the time. I do think that it's weird that she didn't make more of a fuss about it, though. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Rejecting My Friend's Request to Have an Open Relationship with My Husband? I'm a 30-year-old female and I've been married to my husband, a 32-year-old male, for 5 years. We have 2 beautiful kids, a 5-year-old male and a 6-year-old female, and have a very strong relationship and are happy together. Recently, my friend, Lisa, a 29-year-old female, confided in me that she has developed feelings for my husband. She said that she finds him attractive and admires our relationship, and she asked if we could consider opening the relationship so she could be with him too. I was shocked and I told her no, explaining that my husband and I are committed to each other and that we are not interested in an open relationship. Lisa got upset and accused me of being selfish and closed-minded. She argued that modern relationships should be flexible and that I was denying her happiness. Since then, Lisa has been distant from me, spreading rumors in our friends group, suggesting that I am overly possessive and controlling. This has caused a lot of tension, and some of our mutual friends are even now taking sides. My husband is supportive of my decision, but I feel guilty for the drama it has caused. So am I the jerk for rejecting my friend's request to have an open relationship with my husband? Edit, this has attracted a lot more attention very fast than I thought that it would. I've read most of your comments, and I think tomorrow I will talk the whole thing over with the friend group, and I'll update afterwards. Update 1. After reading some of your comments, I decided to bring the group out for coffee, and I told them all about what Lisa said and the real story. I also showed them the Reddit post. After showing them, there were still 2 girls that were on Lisa's side. So I took some advice from the comments and said, let Lisa be intimate with your husband, and then you can be on her side. After that, everyone was on my side, thankfully. Lisa wasn't happy at all, and she started ranting about how it wasn't fair. She just wanted to experiment something new. And it wasn't even that bad of a request. You're making such a big deal out of it, which I don't get. Me and the rest of the group have officially cut contact with Lisa, just hoping that she doesn't try to reach out. We'll update if something happens. Also, just clarifying that Lisa also asked my husband for an open marriage. He also rejected, saying that even if I would never want to go out with you. I'm thinking of cutting off the ladies that were on Lisa's side for so long, but I'm not sure if they heard a different story or not. So, should I? Alright folks, what do you think?
not the jerk. OP's husband is not some toy to be passed around. The way she's talking about this is like kids squabbling over a toy.
Yeah.
Like, it's not fair. It's my turn. That's not how this works.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this. There are some people who are into having their relationships open or will do things like be swingers and stuff like that. And if Lisa were to have just asked and then accepted the answer without continuing to harass them, I think that it's still a little icky.
Once you put that out there, like, no one's going to be able to unthink that.
Yeah.
They're always going to be wondering, like, if you're going to try and get with the partner behind their back. So I think you have to be prepared for the friendship to be over when you make that request.
Yeah.
But certainly the pushing boundaries and being like, but why won't you share him with me?
Yeah.
When it sounds like it's not even something that he wants. Like, this is one of those things where you would need two yeses, OP and her partner.
Yeah.
And to just be like, okay, I'm going to badger OP until she gives in, and just, like, no, this is just not okay.
Yeah, and also it's a very selfish point of view that she has here and talking about her happiness.
Hmm.
Why don't I get my happiness and when will I get my day in the sun type of thing.
Right, it's like she's owed this man because she needs her happiness, and it's like you're not owed another person.
Yeah. My advice to somebody in Lisa's position is not to ask their friends this, but to go onto a dating website and mark your profile that you're willing to have an open relationship with people. I'm sure there are plenty of people out there who would be happy to indulge in that lifestyle with them, right? So that's my advice for Lisa, for the Lisas of the world here. Don't bug your friends about it. Go to strangers and make new friends who are into those kinds of things. Then you can find your happiness. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling My Mom that if she decides who her family is, then I get to decide who my family is? My husband and I fostered for 6 years. Last year, we had a baby placed with us that had been left at a safe haven location. He was only 2 weeks old at the time. Eventually, we were approved to adopt him. Most of our family was very supportive, except for my mother. She suddenly made it clear that she never would view this baby as her grandchild. This came out of nowhere as she had always been kind to our foster children. But for some reason, she drew the line and said blood is what makes family. This was heartbreaking enough as we love and care for our son. We know that adoption comes with trauma and especially how he was placed. There still may be some lingering feelings as he grows up. We were studying all that we could to help make sure that we can guide him through those feelings. We certainly don't need anyone else making him feel less than or not part of our family. And on another level, my husband was unofficially adopted himself. He came from a terrible home life. His best friend's mom noticed, took him under their wing, and then he spent most of the week at their place. She fed and clothed him. He no longer speaks to his biological parents, but his best friend's family has become our family. Our son will forever know that his best friend will be his uncle and his mom their nana. So, safe to say that my mom's words hurt my husband, given his own experience tied with the double whammy of what my mom was saying about our son. And yes, she is aware of all this and still said it in front of him. She never expressed her feelings on adoption until then. I tried to talk to my mom about this, but she stood firm. She never viewed him on the same level as my brother's biological kids. After discussing it further, my husband and I realized that we can't force anyone to view our son as family. And because we don't want our son or husband hurting, I went no contact with my mom. I spoke with the rest of my family. She was upset when I told her that we were going no contact, but we didn't have a huge discussion about it until recently. My mom was at a wedding for a distant relative. I was there alone as it was a child-free event, so my husband stayed behind to watch our son. I planned on ignoring my mom and having a good time. At one point during the reception, I was outside the venue to call my husband and check on things and see how things were going. My mom came outside when I was finishing up. I went to walk away, and she told me that I hurt her by cutting her off. I asked her if their stance had changed. She said no. I replied, then I can't make her want to be my son's grandmother. I can't make her see that family isn't blood. But then she can't expect me, who has an adopted child, along with a husband who more or less was basically adopted himself, to want to be around her. If she can choose family, then I can choose family too. I then said today wasn't about us, and I went inside. My father informed me that I should have just walked away, and that, well, I was incredibly petty. My mom still wants to be in our lives, and that's what should matter, not that she won't view him as family. Am I the jerk? Edit to answer some questions. 1. Yes, my mom has admitted that he wouldn't be treated the same as her biological grandkids. 2. Our son is biracial. I won't be ignorant and say that this can't be a reason, though I do genuinely believe that if we adopted a white baby, she would feel the same. I think that it was just, well, this doesn't help, which gave us all the more reason to want to protect him. 3. I was low contact with my dad as well. Originally, he didn't seem to support her. Now, I'm going to go no contact with him as well. Alright folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. I mean, it sounds like the mom decided, well, he's not bio family, so he's not my family. OP is well within her right to be like, if you're not going to treat my kid like family, you're not my family.
Yeah.
You know, the most important thing is protecting OP's son and making sure that he feels like a loved and valued member of the family. And if he's always like on the sidelines at holidays, watching his cousins get expensive presents from grandma and grandpa, while he gets like dollar toy things like these stories always go, like that's gonna cause him a lot of pain and trauma.
Yeah, I think that in this particular case, it's better to cut off the family, and given especially that she doesn't really want to view their child as part of the family, and I think that that's going to be very hurtful on the child over the years, right? And I think that this is just not a very good situation at all to put either the father, or the husband, or the child into.
Mm-hmm.
This is their family, and family, like, how can she sit there and say not accept the son when she accepts the husband as part of their family, right? Because the husband was brought into the family through marriage, right? He's not blood related to them.
Right.
So if she can view this person as part of the family and view them as, on the same level as maybe their daughter, I don't know how they can, not view the grandchild as well, right? But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And by any other name says, you're completely not the jerk, and I'm sorry you even felt the need to have this validated. At this point, you are protecting your family. It doesn't really matter why, as far as you're being the jerk or not, but do you know how she got like this? Her feelings are so incredibly bizarre to me. Like, I can at least understand a grandparent's feeling if you were talking about a troubled teen and she was worried about you. But even in that case, I would expect the grandparent to put their worry aside and do their best to love and support. I literally can't even imagine why she would be upset that her daughter is adopting a baby. Was she holding out hope that you would have another biological child and thinks that this adoption dashes that hopes? I can't wrap my mind around it. And OP replies, I am unable to have biological children, and she's always supported me about that. After my emergency hysterectomy, she even said that she was sad for me that I would never get to be a mother. So you would think that this would make her happy for me. Alas. Well, that even adds a little more context here, because it's not even like OP has the option of having a biological child.
Yeah, well, but the mother's phrasing there is telling, oh, I'm sorry you'll never get to be a mother. Like, Opie will never get to experience childbirth
Mm-hmm.
and pregnancy, but that doesn't mean she'll never get to be a mother.
Yeah, I think that is a terrible take on the mother's part. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab yourself a beverage of choice. I have some tea right here. And Amber, have we moved on to another section of the jovial Bob sign joke?
We still have a couple more
Oh,
predictions to
we
go.
still have a few more predictions left to go. It's going to drag. I predict that this is going to drag out for much more longer.
You will lighten your hair to blonde and tell everyone the sun did it.
The sun did it, folks. My hair is blonde only because of the sun. And I have Earl Grey. I'm the blondest blonde. Can't you tell? Alright, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Terrific Tuesday, spelled T-W-O. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance. And please have it on boundaries.
Setting and adhering to healthy boundaries is an important piece of maintaining healthy relationships.
I think that works well. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye!